So just heading off on another walk on the North York Moors. It's quite a nice morning, cool but dry. The sun was out earlier for once. Hopefully you might see it again later. But heading up here to a location called Round Hill, and end up eventually on that ridge line there, which is Urra Moor. So we'll be right over there and then walk back to the top. Just in front of me there is the path up to the top, and that's where we're going. So I've come from down there and now through the next gate, and it sort of levels out with it, and this is onto Urra Moor. I'm heading this way along the path, and I'll end up coming back down this path here, which joins where that sign is, that path along there. So this is a plateau on Urra Moor. Quite a windswept area, but thankfully the wind's not too strong today. Just a bit cool when it does pick up. It's been harder going than I expected. Some of this snow quite deep. That's where I've come from. I've got to say the snow in places was pretty heavy going. It was probably about 18 inches deep in some parts on the path, so it was quite hard work. My plan is to turn here at this crossroads and go down that path, which is sort of heading in a southerly direction, and then meet up with the top of the crag, and then follow that along the crag, and it takes you back to the top of the hill at Claybank where I joined this track. I'll see what this track's like. It's not too bad here, and give it a go. Just out of interest, this, if I'd continued on up this track, is continues the Cleveland Way, and that hill over there, there's a chap who I spoke to a few minutes ago just at the top of it now. That's Round Hill, which I think is the highest point on the North York Moors. I'll say I'm going to turn now and go down there. Very icy underneath, as you can see. You think it's slush, and then you hit a path of ice. So it can be one of those days where you're concentrating more on where you're putting your feet than enjoying the walk. Yeah, interesting walking conditions. Not been too bad coming down there. A few snow drifts across the path, but nothing as bad as I feared based on what I'd seen earlier. So I'm just turning off now and heading down this track. It's a bit of a muddy path with a few stones and rocks you have to clamber over, and then pick up a track on the bottom of that ridge there above the valley, and then follow that all the way along back to the top of Claybank, and then drop down towards the car. So just this bit will be pretty muddy, and then the rest of it is normally quite muddy as well, so could be an interesting journey down, but we'll see. You might just pick out, if you see the houses in the barn in the valley, just this side of it on the top of the brown ridge, there's a signpost, and that's where I'm heading to, and then walk along that top, and hopefully it's not as bad in terms of mud as I suspect it will be. But let's get down here first, it can be a bit interesting. Right, so we're on the track, which I suppose is on the western edge of the crag on Urra Moor, and this follows the top of that crag, or the edge of Urra Moor at least, all the way back to the top of Claybank. But this is quite a nice track actually to walk, especially when it's in spring and summer when it dried out a bit. Training jets. And there's always a bit of an incline towards the end, just when you think you've gone all downhill. There's an uphill section, and the sun's come out thankfully again. There's some glorious views across the moors now with the sunshine on. So you've got Hasty Bank, and then the rest of Cleveland Hills, including Carlton Bank. That's me coming towards the top of the incline, heading towards what will be the top of Claybank. Sun's out again, and some glorious views across the Cleveland Hills. A few bits of snow and frost clinging on. This morning I came up this path and went down that one, which is all the Cleveland way. There's a couple walking on it now. Seen a few people about in the last hour or so. But once I'm down at the bottom, that's the end of another walk on the moors. The amount of snow in places was a surprise. I mean, it's by no means covered, but I didn't expect the drifting on the path as I walked up. It was quite deep, a foot to 18 inches in places. Made walking difficult, but only for short stretches, you know, here and there. But that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed that one. I'll head on down the hill back to the car, finish off my flask of tea, and then head home. And I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.